Okay, yeah, I'll call you. Bye.
Okay. It being 6 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. Kathy, will you do roll call?
Heather Henry.
Here.
Marty Silverstein.
Here?
Luis Ianes. Erica Sparhawk.
Here.
Ben Baumfock. Frosty Marriott. Dan Richardson.
Here. All right. We have on the consent agenda accounts payable, which we're actually going to pull off the consent agenda.
Just take the box.
Item B, trustee minutes from March 13th, a liquor license renewal for Pops Liquors, modification of premises and revocable license agreement for Fat Tie, Rocky Mountain High modification of license, change of hours, and authorization of mayor to sign Thompson House grant application. So again, or not again, but the Rocky Mountain High modification, does anybody have questions on that one?
Is that the one they're changing the time to 11 o'clock?
Yep.
We don't have anyone else that's later than 10, was what I thought I saw in the packet.
Right, and so we defer to the state because we don't have hours in our
Right, so, and the state is midnight, so
midnight.
this is just basically a courtesy on their part, notification.
No, they have to tell us.
They have to tell us. But we defer to the state, so basically the state rules
Well, I mean,
apply.
we defer to the state that we don't have any rules, so we've never had anybody come forward asking for like midnight, so, but it just seems that as more of them are coming on board, that there's more competition, so.
Okay, I mean, I don't really care if it's 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, but next thing's 11 o'clock, and then is it going to be midnight? That's the only comment I would like to make.
Okay. So, hi Frosty.
Hey, Dan.
So we have items B through F on the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda items B through F.
Second.
Motion by Heather, second by Erica. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say no. All right. So Renee, accounts payable.
We have two additions to make to accounts payable. One of them is for the Thompson House, Steve Saunders with WHC. The invoice was received from the architect late and it needed to get paid. And we also received Excel Energy for $6,459.34 that we need to get paid, as we will not have another AP run before this period. So those two items, Steve's bill was $13,300. They'll bring the total AP up to $371,707.41.
Any questions? Erica, would you like to make a motion?
Sure. I would move that we approve the accounts payable as presented in the packet and with what Renee added.
Second.
Okay.
Motion by Erica, seconded by Heather. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. All right. Thank you, Renee. Greg or Jen, is there anything you'd like to address us on something not on the agenda? Okay, just checking. All right, trustee comments. Would you got anything? Marty?
Yeah, I'll just say there was a nice turnout at the march on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe 150 people exercising their freedom of speech and right of peaceful assembly. So that was nice to see that some people were out doing that.
All right. I was going to, actually, Greg, I was going to mention this anyway, remind people that the KDNK membership drive is going on. Could be winding down, so if you want to make a pledge, do now or forever hold your peace. For
Oh, no, just pledge whenever.
And then also, I attended the community meeting at the middle school last week on vaping.
Oh, good. I did not make it. No,
And was more alarmed than I wanted to be, and felt like there were some things that are worthy of discussion of this board, and I wanted to see if there were a couple other folks who agreed with that so we can discuss it at a future meeting. Just about what policies we could adopt to make vaping more difficult for our youth.
Sure.
Yeah, I would definitely support that. I had somebody approach me, she's the librarian at the middle school, and talked about, I got my own little mini education, and I was hoping to attend last week, but I wasn't able to because I was so sick. But
Yeah.
even if it's some of our education funding that goes towards it or something, there's a lot to learn.
Well, and I'm not even saying funding, maybe, but
Yeah.
there are some policies we can do, but
Yeah, whatever it is.
it's right now unregulated by the FDA, and it's higher concentrations of nicotine than smoking, and yet the kids love it because it tastes good. So it's
Comes in flavors like cotton candy and watermelon and
yeah. So it's
Not
good
geared
stuff.
towards kids at all.
all right.
All right. So Kathy, would you make a note to put that on a future agenda? That's all I had. Any other comments?
I actually do have just, because I don't think I've had a chance, I know I mentioned it to you and Jay, but so a week ago, yesterday, I went to Garfield County Commissioners, and the end result was they're going to schedule a work session on the bears. I've been referring to it as. And, at any rate, they wanted Lou to be part of the work session, and I emailed Tom Jankowski today, but I didn't hear back from him when they were going to try to do it. But my sense was that they were all realized it was a problem. They were going to try to get something done on it, and so it was really good. Glenwood's Shelley was there, and so the lady Nancy Limbaugh from Pauline Shinga's Wildlife Foundation, who has to. If the sow gets killed with cubs, she has the cubs. And so she was there. We had 3 CPW folks. Jean came. So we had a really good turnout and a really good discussion with the commissioners. And so I think it was really positive, and Glenwood wants to opt in with us. And so we'll see where that goes. And then the other thing that I just, FYI, is that we had dinner with Paul and Sandra Mentor, who work with the Faith Lutheran, is that right? And they have the child care there, and they've got an expansion approval for theirs, and they're still going to have a wait list for toddlers, infants, but they seem to be really knowledgeable on all the things having to do with getting approved and all that stuff. So next time there's a discussion, they said they'd love to be a part of it, so we might just make a note to ask them to come, because they've been through the approval process. They were where Little Blue is before, right, I think. And so they've kind of been down the road, and they're both, very interested in it, so just might keep that in mind next time. Cool. I think they'd be real, would want to help any way they could.
All right. I know Paul pretty well, so I'll reach out to him.
Okay.
Go ahead, Heather.
So e-board meeting was last night. A couple of things. Our waste diversion day will be April 28th, so it's Saturday the 28th. So everybody that's been kind of saving up stuff, tires, mattresses, textiles, batteries, light bulbs, all the stuff that would be great to keep out of the landfill, we're ready for. They are still looking for volunteers, so I'm going to volunteer Angie, so A-Sprang at carbondaleco.net. Anybody who's still interested in volunteering for a few hours, if they could get a hold of her, sign up for a time slot would be great.
What's the date again?
The 28th, April 28th. That's a Saturday, right? Just make sure I have that correct.
Yes.
So we'll also see our work session with those guys is the 17th. So we should see some really good stuff. They've been working hard on kind of a work plan for this coming year. So anything as well that you guys can think of that we haven't kind of passed on to them that we want them to be thinking about, that'll be upcoming on the 17th. And RUAPA, so Root Eye Water and Power, just a quick update on our executive director transition. We should be moving into the interview phase shortlisted some candidates out of our initial set of resumes, and we'll be interviewing a few of those in the coming weeks, and have a candidate, say, in 6 weeks or so that is working with Mark really hands-on in that transition. And then, you know, in the next kind of coming months, it's a little bit fluid in terms of the final schedule, just because Mark is being incredibly gracious with making sure that it's a successful transition. So
That's good.
Yeah, it's an exciting update. Really, really good candidates, which was fabulous.
That's good.
Yeah.
I also forgot to mention, I think I may have mentioned it at the last meeting, that a citizen approached me about starting the Citizen of the Year award again. And I thought that maybe the way to handle that, it was handled by a sorority in the past, but I think that sorority has either folded or is in the process of folding. And I thought if we could put together an ad hoc committee of folks from different organizations that kind of capture the whole community and let them decide, and then we would just, they would be a recommending body to us. You know, I thought of things like Carbondale Arts, the Chamber, Parks and Rec Board, E-Board, Senior Matters, School District, Bike Ped and Trails, Rotary, somebody represented maybe wellness or the rodeo, water, town staff, maybe even the Vale Board. Anybody have any other ideas? Either how to do it or organizations that we might solicit input from?
I mean, I just think your idea of like the nonprofits, maybe. I mean, and some like Rotary, like the idea of the rodeo, you know, board, and you know, arts, you know, Carbondale Arts.
Community radio.
Yeah, that would qualify as a nonprofit, I think. Unless they have more money than we know about. That's what I would think. I mean, unless, do we really want the town boards to, I don't know, we could, I'm not opposed to, I'm just trying to think how to do it without having 20 different people trying to get together for a meeting.
I don't mean all of those. I think, I mean, I just was rattling off potential people, and maybe it rotates.
Maybe it rotates, maybe have an ad in the Soper Sun, have people nominate people, or on the town website, might even be better.
Or community radio.
We don't want to show favoritism towards one nonprofit over another. That's why I'm saying, like, maybe the newly designed town website, and the design looked very good.
Right. Okay. Well, if you think of other organizations, so is this approach okay, regardless of who? And then if you have ideas on organizations, including you, Kathy and Renee, if you guys have ideas, let me know. All right, then I'll bring that back for a more formal blessing after maybe talking to some of these folks. Or let me think about that. I'll bring it back one way or another, because I want you guys to bless it before I go talking to people.
I think it's a good idea, and just so I don't forget, because I've been meaning to say this, but I think y'all should also discuss the student trustee again at some point, because that was, I thought when Jesse Morello was on there, he had some good input at times, and that kind of also fell by the wayside, and that might be something else y'all want to talk about.
Wouldn't that be something we could look into setting up, so like next school year? We could have it in place for next school year. It's a little late to do it for this school year, but.
Yep. I'd like to plant the seed with the school district and see if somebody wants to champion that, and if they do, great. If they don't, then they don't.
I think in the past it was done by Youth Zone.
Oh.
Youth Zone speared the effort. It wasn't through the school.
Okay.
So Youth Stone or Stepping Stones might be a good, group to kind of bring on board to help spearhead like a nomination and who's interested.
And that would probably fit in nicely with that vaping discussion as well. Somebody might want to get somebody from there to talk about that as well, because they probably see it more.
Okay. Well, that's all I had. Any other comments? I'm not going to let Mark have his comments. So moving on to item number 6. Craig, special event liquor license for KDNK 35th birthday party. So Greg, if you want to come up here, this is a time for you to tell the world, since everybody watches our meetings, about the event and where they could get tickets. Basically just promote the event if you'd like to.
So our, it's actually a entire weekend really, but the liquor permit is for April 15th for our 35th birthday party at the 3rd Street Center. We will be having a band, a 12-piece ska band from Denver called the Dendrites, who we are also hosting here for the weekend via the Dandelion Inn, is doing some in-kind underwrite with us, and so the Dendrites will also be joining us for ladies arm wrestling the night before at Fat Tie. There should be a very fun band, and then they will be opened by Steve Cole and Roberta Lewis, and there will be time also set aside for we've made a lot of invitations from people that go back 35 years with KDNK to have some time on stage to reminisce and get nostalgic and speak about how they feel about the station. So in terms of the logistics of our liquor license, we have a very responsible staff, and we'll honor your blessing of giving us a temporary liquor license.
Anything, do people need to buy tickets?
So tickets for members, which is an incentive to renew membership or be a member there, are $3.50 at the door, or they could pre-buy. Non-members, $20. We will have food truck service outside to provide something to eat, but stay out of the realm of a need for a health inspection type permit situation.
Okay. You should probably do 2 tickets for $35 to stick with that theme.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Well, actually, 2 tickets for members would be $7.
Yeah.
But if you're not a member,
Exactly.
And
Yeah. That we would cut somebody a break, I'm sure. And I bet somebody could even plead their way in, knowing us.
no. We want them to get 2 memberships, and then they get the discount on the tickets.
And they can buy tickets at kdnk.org?
Yes, but primarily there will be a lot of door sales as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But to learn more about that, call the station 963-0139 or kdnk.org.
Right. And I want you to have all the logistics, but Kathy and Jean take care of all those, so we trust that as long as they're blessing it, you've got all your bases covered. Any questions of Greg?
I would move that we approve the special event liquor license for KDNK for the 35th anniversary party at the 3rd Street Center on April 15th.
I would second that.
All right. Motion by Erica, seconded by Marty. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say no. All right. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Greg.
And you are officially excused.
Thank you.
No, he has to stay to the bitter end.
I've got to get to work on that last 6,000, 7,000.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Greg.
Item number 7, special event liquor license for CARE, the family block party. Good timing.
I was just on time. How's everyone?
Great.
Good, how are you, Wes?
I'm good. Michelle isn't feeling well, so I'm representing us tonight.
All right. Well, thanks for coming, Wes.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell us about the event? And
Yeah.
You're on air, so anything you want the public to know?
Great. The family block party will be on May 4th between 4 and 8 p.m. It's a First Friday celebration. We'll be at the 4th Street Plaza, and we're hoping to close off all the way to Garfield this year to allow a little more room for the Carbondale Arts Make-A-Space bus, and we'll have a little bit more space for the kids' activities sponsored by the Rec Center. This is a very family-friendly event. It's all about helping CARE, Carbondale Arts, and the Carbondale Rec Center. So we will have a silent auction. We'll have some food and drinks from Roaring Fork Brewing and Marble Distilling, and then a kids' entertainment section, games sponsored by the Rec Center.
Awesome.
Yeah, last year we had a really good time. I think it was a productive event for all 3 organizations. It felt great to be a part of it, so we're happy to sponsor that again this year.
Good.
Cool.
Thank you. Any questions of Wes? Marty?
So if I remember, it's like free admission? Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes, sir.
Right, and then, but you could buy drink tickets, and you have like a food booth or a wagon there or
Yep,
something.
there's a number of different vendors. I'm completely positive of all the food vendors this year. Drinks are with the ticket only, so those ticket purchases benefit the organizations involved, and then the silent auction proceeds will all go to our organizations as well. But it's free for everybody else to get in and partake in the games and check out the bus and that type of stuff.
Great. All right. Marty, is that a motion?
That is a motion to approve the liquor license for the CARE special event, Spring into Fun Block Party.
Second.
All right. Motion by Marty, second by Heather. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. All right. Thanks, Wes.
Thank you very
Good
much.
luck with the event.
We'll see you guys there.
Yep. Thanks.
All right. You ready, Jen? Yep. Special event, item number 8, special event liquor license for the Festival de las Americas.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Jen Quevedo. I'm with Club Rotario, Roaring Fork Rotary Club in Glenwood. We're having our 17th annual Festival de las Americas on May 4th, so to coincide with the first Friday. It's free admission. We're going to have live bands, several different food vendors representing countries of Mexico, Central America, South America, and U.S.
Awesome.
Sort of meld the cultures together. I don't know the bands or all the food vendors yet. We're still pulling that together. One of the things that I did want to mention to you guys that sort of piggybacks along with your idea of the Citizen of the Year, every year we have we give out an award, the Jackie Morales Award, in honor of, I don't know who's been here for how long, but Jackie Morales was the director of Asistencia para Latinos, which was an organization in Glenwood for about 25 years ago. And so it's kind of in honor of her sort of nonprofit expertise and nonprofit impetus to sort of integrate the Latino community. So we have 4 different categories that we always accept nominations for: teacher, student, professional, and volunteer. And so anybody that wants to submit a nomination for any of these categories are welcome to do so to our email address, which is glenwoodrotary@gmail.com. Also, if you have any more questions about the festival and what that looks like, you can also email that same address.
Okay.
Great.
We also have a beer garden at our festival. We serve beer and margaritas.
And so this will be similar to last year's event? Yeah. Seems like there were a lot of improvements made last year over the year before. And
Yeah, we learn all the time.
reasonably well last year.
Yeah, we and so we have like the same sound guys and the same the same security and that sort of thing, because we've had different learning curves, so we kind of have a template.
Nice.
That makes it easier.
Yes.
How did it work out for you? Last year was the first year you did it in conjunction with the First Friday. So I remember, how did that work out for you
I think
financially?
it worked out really well.
Okay.
I know that we made a little bit more than we had in years past.
When you had it
scholarships.
standalone.
And I think that a lot of that was we were able to do it because not just last year, I think was the first year that we had done it for several years where we hadn't charged admission, because for several years before that we were charging admission, and then we got a very generous sponsorship from one of the local banks that allowed us to just have no admission, and I think that worked out a lot better, and I think the community was a lot happier, and I know as a club we were a lot happier without having to manage that.
Nice.
It was Cinco de Mayo too, right?
Yes.
It was the first time you did that.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions of Jen? All right. Anybody? Frosty, you haven't made a motion tonight.
I haven't made a motion all year.
It's the first time.
Going out now.
Come on.
Finish strong.
Make a motion that we approve the special event liquor license for the Festival of Las Americas.
Second.
Is it obvious that I like teasing you, Frosty?
Did you like what?
Teasing you?
Well, it's becoming that obvious.
Or roasting you, maybe, since you only have a couple of meetings.
He's getting in his last licks.
Did I hear somebody second, Frosty?
I did.
A motion by Frosty, second by Erica. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. We should have voted it down, just teasing you even more.
That would have really been mean.
Well, and then brought it back. All right, Jen, good luck with your event. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a great event.
Yeah, thanks. See you guys there. Yeah.
All right, maybe that was a little too far. Item number 9, Colorado Communities for Climate Change membership discussion. So we had a presentation last week. I felt a little bad because I felt like it warranted more time on the agenda, but we had a pretty full agenda. This is different than the compact that we discussed probably a year ago. This is essentially a statewide, lobbying coalition of membership or of towns and cities. And maybe before I go any further, any initial thoughts? Heck yes, heck no? Do we want to discuss
Heck,
more?
maybe.
Maybe.
I could see if we wanted to make a commitment at the low level for at least a year, okay? I think the fact that they have a lobbyist at the state level, which obviously we don't have the money to have, that I believe $5,000 was the number. Was that correct?
I had 2 in my head.
Yeah, I thought it was way below that.
Was it two?
I just ditched their.
But it's not in this packet.
I mean, if it's 2, it's a hell yes.
Get the packet. Do you want me to run and get
Seems
the
like
packet?
there was
Could you? So we at least
levels,
know what we're
right?
talking about?
I got the packet. Hold
Yeah,
on.
I got the
I
packet
I got
right
the
here.
packet. I got the packet. Got the packet. I got the packet.
I have it somewhere.
Oh no, it was in his.
Oh, it's in
It's in
Oh,
his
we have his
presentation,
Wait,
wasn't it?
I can.
Only if you have his PowerPoint. It was in his PowerPoint.
I was thinking, I was like, I don't remember
Right.
seeing
He
it.
only
Yeah,
had
'cause
a one
all we
page.
have
I
is
thought
this
it was
one sheet.
10,000 at the higher level and 5,000
I have it
at
in
the
my
lower
notes.
level.
Well, but we can kind of name our price because they said cost shouldn't be an impediment. So if we feel comfortable at a certain level and say this is what we feel comfortable doing, either for the balance of the year to see how the organization works, we can do that. We do have some savings this year. I mean, we haven't budgeted for this year, which is one thing that is kind of an issue. But in terms of money we've spent on clean energy, we did reduce our dues to core. Sales tax seemed to be well over expectations this year. But there's also no commitment on our end. No, we could say we want to join in 2019.
So base is 5,000 and core is 10,000.
Thank you,
so that-
Kathy.
For a
Yeah,
community under.
2,000 to 49,999. And then they were thinking of changing it next year, but we wouldn't have fit into that category that they were going to make. I didn't write that down, but I know that we didn't fit in there.
well, how about if we start with the concept? Are we all in agreement that's a good idea?
I mean, I too appreciate the lobbying aspect. I struggle with the metrics, and I don't know that he did a great job of describing their metrics, though I understand how challenging that could be given what they're trying to accomplish, how you set measurable goals and then achieve those, right? Different than I think where our money is spent now, has some pretty significant metrics that come back from that. But again, I too, none of the organizations that we're a part of play this role, fit into this sort of niche as far as lobbying at the state level. And ultimately, I guess I do kind of support it because I'd love to get enough support behind it where they can increase lobbying at the federal level, frankly. You know, I asked Erica afterwards, he had said something about Colorado, you know, early on being kind of in the forefront and now falling behind in terms of our technology, what we're bringing on board, you know, how we're addressing climate change, how we are or aren't being, you know, presenting ourselves as leaders in Washington. And I think you said that, yeah, we are in fact falling behind. So, and, you know, I don't really like seeing that. And I think if this is the right organization to then start to get that back to where it should be, great. I'm out of my league to like know whether they are the right organization for that.
That's a good question for Erica.
Yeah.
Right. As far as I know, I think they are the organization for us to, you know, get on board with and partner with for both, not just the lobbying, but also for bringing that statewide, what do we want to see as a state, making that discussion happen. I think more so than other, like the compact that's come up, which is more about helping communities who don't have programs get programs started, which is, it's fine if we all are going to have these separate communities and have these different programs, but the states that are being real leaders have these incredible state either structures or policies and even funding mechanisms that they've developed to get more communities on board, because really we need every county in our state taking action. So how are we going to make that happen? So I think from what I know of this organization, I think this is the one for us to be a part of, to both be part of that dialogue and those decisions on what we're going to be, what we want to see the state do. But then, yeah, our other local organizations, I mean, GCE, we track legislative bills, but we're not lobbying or anything like that. So I would support joining the coalition. I had been looking through the packet, and obviously I missed his presentation on what the cost is. So, but I had been thinking that since we reduced our core dues, even if it's not in the budget, is there, wherever we had that funding from before, is that a potential place where we could find the 5,000?
Rusty?
Yeah. I think it's a good idea. I think we're pretty much in agreement that it's probably one of the most important issues facing the world and our little area. And I think it's going to be more incumbent as we move on that local governments try to get more and more done, because I think the dysfunction is going to be there for a while in Washington. And I think we follow up with our momentum of the governor, right? We didn't GCE get an award and recognition over there, and so as I mentioned, I can't remember to who, but you know, the time I was over there with that wildlife crossing bill, Carbondale has, when you say you're from Carbondale, the legislators light up. I mean, so it will help not just us, but it'll help the compact as well that Carbondale signs on to it. I think it gives gives them a lot more momentum to it, and so I think from that standpoint, and then we also have an opportunity to talk to Bob Rankin, and you know he's because he's here and he's a conservative Republican, but he will listen to us. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's an opportunity as well to be able to make a real difference over there. So I'd be for it, especially with Erica saying that's who we should, who she thinks is the one we should hook up with.
Marty?
So hearing what I've heard from everyone and being frugal, I'd like to suggest that for the balance of this year, we contribute $2,500, okay? And then in our budget planning for next year, we could look at donating, contributing at the $5,000 level.
That's what I was going to say.
I mean, because that shows our intent is with them.
Yep.
And we're going to have a new board next year. Some of the same members may still be here, but, you know, it's something that, like I said, being frugal, we're showing where our heart is and that we agree with their purpose. And then we could take it up again and consider it, you know, the full level contribution in our next budget.
So Renee, when Jay and I talked about this, he gave me the impression that he could find the 2,500, or we didn't say 2,500, but since that's what Marty suggested, what are your thoughts? Are there any hidden?
We did have in the budget to be for the membership in Northwest Cog.
Oh, right,
And
that's
we're not doing that, so.
That was what you mentioned last week.
Okay.
And what are those membership dues? Do you
We
remember?
were 48.51.
48.51. Okay. I agree with pretty much everything that has been said. As you know, I'm a little cautious about what we join and what we don't join, but I do think I've talked to enough people about this group, and while I too wish there was a better way to judge performance and evaluate that, you know, the fact of the matter is that's kind of why we need them, is because it's tall marching orders right now. And I've been involved in enough discussions on a professional level to know that there are a lot of things broken with state policy that prevent clean energy. And so we need a voice to say, no, just changing this policy will allow, you know, these things to happen. And so we need that. And I think it's probably one of the bigger levers we have as a town. And I think, I'm forgetting his name, Jacob said that they're like CML, but I think he's right. CML is probably never going to lobby for climate and clean energy things. It's too broad of an issue, and, you know, there isn't common agreement around the state. So I think it makes sense to join a separate organization. So, Renee or Kathy, do you feel like we could make a motion, or is this something that would need to come back as an ordinance, or what do you think?
I think you can make a motion on it.
Okay.
It says membership. I mean, even though it says discussion, BOT action desire, that means
Okay.
a motion is expected.
Okay. So?
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we join CC4CA at the $2,500 level for the rest of this calendar year.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Marty, seconded by Erica. Further comments, thoughts?
Could we possibly pen a letter to Garfield County that we've joined, we support it, why we joined, give them a little to do the same?
What does everybody else think about that?
Can't hurt.
Can't hurt, right?
Can't hurt.
I'm just
Yeah.
always cautious about what we choose to pester them about.
We do have one skirmish going right now.
We're not like showing up. We're just saying, here's a letter, here's why we supported it.
They did
We'd encourage
unanimously
it, yeah.
approve the solar array.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that.
Right.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Does anybody remember, are any other Garfield County communities members of CC4CA?
They're not. I got on their website.
They're not.
Could we do this with just a press release rather than
Yeah.
targeting the county commissioners?
I'd almost rather talk to the other or
The other
any of us, yeah, and see if we can garner their support. And if there's at least two,
then
it's-
there's a few, then it's great.
Yeah.
And we could also
That
bring
sounds
it up at a GCE meeting from the town of Carbondale that we've joined this effort. Since there's other communities, because Newcastle or Glenwood may want to join
Perfect.
as well.
Yeah.
I like the idea of giving them, you know, okay, if you can't join at the $5,000 level, join at whatever level you can. Because the more communities they have joining them, the more the lobbyists will have a voice in Denver.
Yep.
All right. Motion on the table, seconded by Erica. Motion by Marty, second by Erica. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. All right, motion passes. I believe that's it. Kathy or Renee, anything on, well, that's just planning and zoning, so probably no comments on those.
What?
All right. It being 6:39, we are adjourned.
Renee, can I talk to you for 1 second?
Frosty, you forgot your jelly beans
What, from where?
from me.